Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And if you guys, is another Pirates of the Caribbean movie review. We're going on a roll here. We already have Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, and now we have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, which is, first and foremost, let me just start off by saying that the marketing for this movie is completely out of whack. Because if you look at the freaking Blu-ray, literally one of the last sentences is, everything has led to this twisting, turning, wild, swashbuckling ride in this final chapter of the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. So they were dead set on making this movie at World's End, clocking in at about 170 minutes, basically 3 hours, the final movie in this Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. And of course, it makes no sense, because they're saying it's the final movie in the trilogy, yet in the frickin' movie, they set up on Stranger Tides, the fourth film, with the Fountain of Youth. So that makes no sense. And then, of course, we have Dead Men Tell No Tales, which says the final chapter. And then the director, Joaquin Wilhelm, was like, oh, we're making the sixth one. So in terms of numbering, this franchise completely effed up. But this movie, from what I know, from what I remember from 4 and 5, this film is my favorite out of the 5. Now, again, I'm going to watch 4 the next day and 5 the next day. Hopefully, I ordered the Blu-ray for 5. Hopefully that comes soon so I can watch it. But from what I remember, At World's End was my favorite. And this, I stand by this. At World's End is a, if this was going to be the final movie, the actual final movie in this franchise, that would work. Because, I mean, this movie's up there with Avengers Endgame, the final battle in that. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, the final battle in that. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies. All these big, massive franchises that have these big, massive, final epic battles. This has it. I mean, the Maelstrom battle between Davy Jones and the Black Pearl and Calypso and all these other things, it's fantastic. It really is. I mean, the entire movie is fantastic. This is, again, my favorite one. But speaking on that final battle, like, one of my favorite battles, my favorite movie endings is from The Lone Ranger, which I reviewed that when I was in Disney. I want to go back. But basically, the Lone Ranger big train fight, it was such a great scene. The Lone Ranger is already a fantastic film. But that end train fight made it even better. And that's the same thing with this film. The entire movie of At World's End is fantastic. The CGI, amazing. Acting, writing, character arcs, everything. And then you get this final battle, which is probably up, like I said, it's up there with the best final battles of all time. The way it's shot, and I don't love violence, but the level of action and violence, and it makes you feel like you're on this boat in a frickin' maelstrom storm, you know what I mean? And going back to what I said about Curse of the Black Pearl and Dead Man's Chest, these 3 films have something that 4 and 5 don't have. And that's the real practical sense of grittiness and reality. And I do know that 4 and 5, they did do a lot of practical things. But this film, obviously they're not in a real maelstrom, and they're not actually fighting fish people and Davy Jones. But the CGI is so flawless in this film for 2007, you can't tell. But also, the fact that they're on a real ship, again, I keep saying this, but it's true, on a real ship, on the water, or, in the water, and when these characters, Elizabeth, Will, Jack, when they get covered in rain and they're all wet and, there's like blood and there's water everywhere and there's like dirt and grime and slime everywhere, that's real, you know what I mean? They're actually fighting what I would imagine within the rain, or at least they're covered in water, and it gives that sense of intensity, and the way that it's all filmed. Man, I could go on for on about this ending because it's freaking fantastic. One of my I did a video a while ago talking about my top 5 or top 10 favorite movie shots of all time, and At World's End is one of them. There's that shot where the ship comes in and Will Turner's fighting and he gets knocked down and the cannon's flying, and then it pans to Barbossa. I talked about it in that video. You can go check that out. But it's one of my favorite shots in movie history, and it's just a fantastic fight scene. And the movie leading up to this insanely awesome fight scene with the East India Trading Company, with Lord Cutler Beckett and all that, the whole idea that they're trying to kind of unite, and there's different twists and turns, and people want the heart for different, kind of like Dead Man's Chest, they want the heart for different reasons, and of course we do know what happens. Will stabs it and all that, and he becomes a new Flying Dutchman, captain of the Flying Dutchman ship. But, everything leading up to it really is just, it's some of the best characters and the best trilogy I've ever witnessed in movie history. This is Disney's crowning achievement in terms of live action. That, Marvel and Star Wars, it's Disney, but, I'm talking Disney, stuff that they made from the ground up. It's just utterly fantastic. And the fact that this got like a 30, you know me, I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes. F them. But the fact that this got a 30% or whatever is freaking... It makes no sense. It's completely and utterly stupid that they would do that. You know what I mean? It's insane. It really is. A lot of people complained about this film. One of my buddies in real life... well, he was like, oh, you know, Frances Brendan, it makes no sense. And he didn't say, you know, call me by my real name. But he was like, oh, the movie makes no effing sense. It's so complicated. And upon watching 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to watch 4 and 5 once a day, you know, every single day, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of out there, but that's the point. The Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, like Indiana Jones, is somewhat rooted in reality, but it also has, you know, mystical elements like the, you know, Aztec gold and Davy Jones's heart and the Trident of Poseidon, the Fountain of Youth. You know, it's all in there. But the fact that they're able to kind of make, you know, actual use of it and have it work for screen time is friggin' fantastic. But again, going into the nitty-gritty, the actual things, the music by Hans Zimmer, still fantastic. The CGI, again, this is, like Dead Man's Chest, some of the best CGI I've ever seen in a movie ever. The CGI in this film, Davy Jones, everything, man, everything CGI in this movie rivals the best CGI you can come up with. You know, Avatar, Endgame, Star Wars, you know, the DC, even like the you know, Snyder Cut. So many movies now have good CGI, but this was the precursor to all of that. You know what I mean? It was fantastic. The acting is great. The comedy is also great. I think, like Dead Man's Chest and Curse of the Black Pearl, this franchise knows how to make you laugh. But again, going back to my Dead Man's Chest point of comedic relief, you know, you're not watching it. You're not going, oh, they had to put that in there, because this movie's, again, it's not for kids. It's effing dark. It's really brutal, really violent. I mean, it's a hard PG-13, and the fact that they're making you laugh is, you know, it's crazy. It's a sign of good writing, is what it is. You know, there's Easter eggs that harken us back to the first film. There's all these different things, and it's really just a testament to the writers, whoever. Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio, I think they wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, and they got new writers for 5. But I do think that the writing is top notch, the action is top notch, everything in this movie is top freaking notch, man. And I don't think I have this film in my top 10 list, but if I didn't, and maybe I could go to a 15 or like a top 11, this would probably be it. Again, this is not just my favorite pirate movie. Again, once I review 4 and 5, I'll have a definitive answer on that, but this is a great movie. I really don't have many problems with it. I think this is going to be the first one to get an A+. Everything works. The comedy, the action, the story beats, the character arcs, the acting, writing, screens, music, everything, the editing, everything comes together to make a fantastic and intense movie that's also going to make you laugh. You know what I mean? It's got a lot of things in there that are really neat and balanced. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It's a great movie. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End gets an A+. Again, I'm not just saying that because it's Pirates, because it's Disney. I'm not biased. I really am giving this an A+, because I think it's a pretty much a perfect movie. I really couldn't think of anything wrong with it. The whole twist and turn with Calypso, the whole marrying thing with Will and Elizabeth getting married, and this big epic battle. Barbossa's like tackling 100 guys at the same time. It's so good, man. Everything about this is like the best wedding, you know, in movie history. It's freaking fantastic. The fact that they also set up the 4th film without wanting to do it, apparently, because they get, you know, the final film in the trilogy. Of course, On Stranger Tides happened, which they alluded to, and Dead Men Tell No Tales, which also features Will Turner's son, I think, Henry, I think. When I rewatch it, I'll find out, but Henry, I'm just going to call him Henry. He's in the, you know, after post-credit scenes of this film, when it skips 10 years and Will meets his son and Elizabeth again. And it sets it up perfectly. So it's kind of weird that they're, you know, kind of like Ninjago, you know, like Ninjago Season 2, they're like, that's the end. And then Season 3 came out, and they're like, Season 3 is the end. And then after, like, Season 10, they were like, that's the end. And now there's, like, effing 28 seasons. But, you know, as long as they keep producing good quality content, Ninjago, Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I really don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know Johnny Depp's in this whole bullcrap situation with Amber Turd and all that, and Disney's on an effing firing spree. They're firing Gina Carano, which they had no right to do. They fired Johnny Depp, which they probably had no right to do, even though all the signs were pointing against him and towards Amber Turd. They're like, screw you, Johnny! You know, so Disney's, whatever. They're kind of weird sometimes. But, you know, if they do ever make a sixth, and I don't know what's happening with the Margot Robbie movie, the spinoff, whatever, but if Dead Men Tell No Tales is the end, it's a good end, and I'll get to it when I review that film. But they set themselves up for a sixth. And much like with this, you know, it literally says final chapter of the trilogy, yet there's a fourth and a fifth, you know what I mean? And the